Broadcasting from the basement of La Penta, it's WICR.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sports Fall Jersey. Joe Archino back here, and really it has become a crisis for FC Barcelona, and I'm doing a segment that I didn't think that I would ever be doing at any point this season, but like I just said, it is unquestionably a moment of crisis for FC Barcelona as they now find themselves tied for first place with Atletico Madrid, a 76-point lead for Barcelona, and of course they defeated Atletico Madrid in the regular season, so they do have a little bit of a leg against them there, but the fact that it has gone to this point where they now have 76, Atletico has 76, and then Real Madrid is right behind with 75, it really speaks volumes, and it really is a kind of a constant reminder of how quickly it can all fall apart. Just a few weeks ago, FC Barcelona had an 11-point lead, really, against Real Madrid and a 10-point lead against Atletico Madrid. It seemed like they had it so solidified and locked up that there was no point in even looking forward. But my goodness, look at what has happened now. And it really, again, you always have to remember and keep it in the back of your mind that it really never is over in a league like this one. If you're a Paris Saint-Germain and you're playing in a Ligue 1, if you have a lead like this, there's no way you're going to be surpassed. But in La Liga, in the Premier League, in Serie A, in the Bundesliga, these big leads really mean nothing. You have to constantly be holding them, and I think that's why for Leicester City in the Premier League this season, it's why Claudio Ranieri was constantly preaching that message. When they had a 5-point lead, when they had a 7-point lead over the rest of the table, he kept on reiterating a 5-point lead means absolutely nothing, and that is absolutely the case. Constant pressure is going to be put on you, especially when you have such a storied rivalry like Atletico does with Barcelona, like Real Madrid does with Barcelona. And really, Barca has been the model of perfection, the model of unity all season long. They had not shown a moment where they faltered, and now it is all unraveling in front of our eyes, and they've lost a little bit of that identity, and the identity is what set them apart from everyone else, is because they always had that identity in place, and now it certainly is gone. And just to kind of give you a historical kind of perspective of what's going on right now, the last time Barcelona lost 3 consecutive games in La Liga was back in 2003. But we look at their last 3 defeats in La Liga, one to, of course, Real Madrid, another one to Real Sociedad, and then another one to Valencia just this past weekend. That's the one where Messi scores goal number 500 for club and country. But one of the things that we look at for Messi is his goals are not meaningless. And that was a goal that at the time really didn't mean a whole lot because his team didn't end up getting the victory. And for a player of that caliber, who we all agree is the best in the world, to score that goal and for it to come away with not really having any meaning to it because of the loss, that really just doesn't sit well. And I know for the people who've watched him and his prowess, that's not something you want to attach to that 500th goal. But again, it's not all in his hands. And right now, Barcelona is struggling with a little bit of an identity crisis because, again, they haven't faced much adversity this season. And now they lost to Real Madrid, and you were all wondering, how do they respond after that? A big Champions League game that next week. They don't play great, but they find a way and they beat Atletico Madrid. And then there's a little bit more controversy as they lose in La Liga that next weekend. Then they play Atletico Madrid again, and they get knocked out of the Champions League competition. Now they follow it up this weekend with another loss. So there had not been much adversity. The adversity came, and then once it hit, it just all unraveled so quickly. And now Barcelona is in a major identity crisis. And more than anything now, it's a constant pressure and rush each match day to the end of the season. Just a few weeks ago, Barcelona was sitting pretty with this lead in La Liga, but now it is going to be a fight to the end, and every match just means so much more. Instead of building upon it and holding their position, now they're in a spot where you don't even know if they're going to be able to come out of this. They're in a spot right now where I just haven't seen them under Luis Enrique. When he took over as manager, it was not a great start. There was constant talks that he would be outed as the manager by December, but they stayed the course, and I think more than anything, it's because he relinquished some of his micromanaging. He let the players do what they needed to do, and he's just kind of took a step back and just let the players play. Let them trust each other. Let them use the system that they have in place to manage themselves. And it worked beautifully because they walk away with the treble. And it seemed like that harmony carried over perfectly to this season, and it had been working for so long. They had shown that invincibility, and then before you know it, in the blink of an eye, they're out of the biggest competition, and now they're in jeopardy of falling in La Liga, which seemed like they had control of for so long. And it's even more remarkable when you think about the fact that Messi was out for such a significant portion of the season, and Neymar and Suarez were just marvelous in his absence. But now Messi is back. Everything is back, and they are now looking at a period of adversity and uncertainty that, again, I just haven't seen with Luis Enrique there. Because when there was that turmoil with Luis Enrique, you felt like it was a divided locker room. That's not the issue here. I think the issue here right now is they've just lost some of that confidence, some of that identity on the pitch that made them so unique and so unstoppable. And right now, as you see, I mean, the proof is in what we have watched. We have watched a span where it started with the loss in El Clasico to Real Madrid, and it continued to their exit in the Champions League, and now their position in La Liga is threatened as well. Again, they still have two major trophies available to them, but I think that gut punch of getting knocked out of the Champions League competition clearly has hurt them so much so, and you could see it. I mean, the sequencing of the event, sometimes you can absorb a loss because it's followed up by some wins and you get back on track, but the loss in El Clasico followed up by the exit in the Champions League, I mean, you can't take much bigger gut punches than those two matches right there. And right now, FC Barcelona is desperate for the answers, and sometimes you think maybe you go a little overboard when you use the word crisis, but there's no other word that's available in the vocabulary of FC Barcelona right now than crisis. They are in a desperation mode, a crisis mode, and they need to get their confidence back now because before you know it, they're already out of the Champions League, surrendering the El Clasico trophy. I don't know if the fans at Camp Nou would be able to accept that after what has been an incredible season, which is now spiraling into a season where they're in a period of uncertainty. But until they figure things out, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino and on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino. And I'll see everybody next time.